Welcome back to Morning Joe. Joining us now, Democratic Congresswoman-elect Jahana Hayes of Connecticut. Congresswoman-elect, we haven't seen you since Election Day. Congratulations to you.
Good morning. Great to see you again.
We should point out you were the 2016 National Teacher of the Year at Kennedy High School in Waterbury, Connecticut, and now moving into Congress. We had you here during the campaign. We heard your platform. We heard some of your ideas. How did you do it? How did you win?
I just went out and really talked to people, got groups of people engaged who had not voted before, who had been disengaged for a very long time, got young people and millennials motivated, and really just had this authentic message that connected with people in the 5th District.
Congresswoman, again, congratulations on your victory. It was great to see you win that seat. Let me ask you, you are now about to be an official member of Congress. When you were here with us on set, you indicated you would not vote for Nancy Pelosi. Has your position changed? What are you thinking now, and what are you telling my friend Seth Moulton?
Well, I came into Washington with an open mind. I said I want to hear all the information, and I want to cast a vote that's best for the people in my state. No one has asked me for a vote other than Nancy Pelosi. You know, last week we were here for orientation and we caucused, and I was of the mind, put up or shut up. Nobody came to me, and at this point, I think it's unreasonable for anyone to expect a vote when they haven't even asked. So I am prepared to support Nancy Pelosi in caucus tomorrow when votes are cast.
Well, that's amazing. Tell us how that happened. How did she ask you for your vote? Did she ask you for a meeting? Did you go see her? Where did it take place? When did it take place?
Well, last week I did have a face-to-face meeting with Leader Pelosi, and she laid out a platform and her vision for where we move. And I expressed my concern about, you know, people have spoken. They're looking for shifts in leadership. They're looking for some generational change, many of the things I spoke about on the campaign. And we have to acknowledge that. We have to make a path where we are bringing people along and positioning people for leadership. And she acknowledged that she thought that was important, and she flat out asked me for my support, and I told her I need to hear all the information, and I was waiting just to hear if anyone else would step up, if anyone else would ask for a vote, if anyone else would present a contrast to what she was saying, and that never happened.
You know, Noah, what the Congresswoman-elect was just saying reminds me of an old story Tip O'Neill once told me. The second time he ran for the House of Representatives, the woman across the street, he bumped into her one day walking down Russell Street in Cambridge, where they both lived, and he said to her, "Geez, Mrs. McNally, you know, don't forget to get out and vote for me tomorrow." And she said, "Well, I don't know, Tom. I don't know whether I'm going to." And he said, "Well, what do you mean? You know, you've known me all your life." And she said, "But you haven't asked. Everybody likes to be asked."
That's very important. Congratulations, Congresswoman-elect. Excuse me. My in-laws live in your district. It is a beautiful place. I spend a lot of time there. Congratulations.
It is.
I wanted to talk to you briefly about your campaign platform. You campaigned on a Medicare for All platform. We haven't had a chance to see a bill that could be scored, but we do have, for example, Bernie Sanders' plan, which the Urban Institute said would have to be offset by reductions in outlays to healthcare providers by as much as 40%, and tax increases commensurate to the tune of about $25,000 per annum across the board more for some, less for others, but nevertheless, significant tax increases. Are you prepared to vote for something that scores along those lines?
Absolutely. I think that was probably one of the things that really drew me to supporting Leader Pelosi. I recognized the work she did on the Affordable Care Act and getting that passed and rallying the votes to get it passed. And I think that all Democrats recognize that there are some challenges with that health care plan, that it was not a perfect bill. It needed reform going in. And especially in my district, that was one of the things that people were most concerned about. So I plan to work very hard with all Democrats, Republicans, anyone who will move us closer to a plan to have more people and not less insured.
Well, again, since I spend so much time in your district, I also know a little bit about the voters there, and they are also deeply concerned with the tax increases there. You're prepared to raise taxes on your ordinary voters?
am I prepared to raise? I don't think anybody wants to raise taxes. I think that we can find cuts in other areas. I think that there are ways to find money by shifting maybe funds from other places, by looking at some of the cuts that were already made in the Republican tax plan and really reallocating those funds so that we can help more people and not less.
So, Congresswoman-elect, you've had a chance now to be in Washington for a few days. You've gone through the orientation process. You've found out about the cell phones, the ways of getting around the building. What in your early impressions do you think now are going to be the biggest hurdles for you in Congress in implementing the platform that you campaigned on and that you won on?
Well, what I realized very quickly last week was that I came here to be a workhorse and not a show horse. It's really going to take working with people, collaborating on both sides of the aisle, bringing people together and finding out where we have commonalities and working from there. I think many people have come in with these really hard lines and these defined positions, and what I'm realizing is that in a room with 435 people, compromise is key. You know, it's essential to be collaborative and to go in and be solution-driven.
Jahana Hayes, the National Teacher of the Year, and in a matter of a few weeks, United States Congresswoman. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Coming up next on Morning Joe, we are following breaking news out of Afghanistan. Details of a roadside bombing just coming in with American casualties. What we know right after the break.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.